Something big is happening in South Asia right now, a really dramatic geopolitical shift. And right at the heart of it all is Bangladesh. The country is basically tearing up its old playbook, rewriting its alliances, and in the process, it's challenging decades of stability in the region. So, if you listen to Bangladesh's new interim leader, Mohammed Yunus, the official story is all about friendly, inclusive diplomacy. He says the country is simply reaching out to everybody. Sounds nice and simple, right? An open-door policy. But is it really that straightforward? Well, not if you ask the analysts. They see something completely different. For them, this isn't an open door at all. It's more like a door closing, specifically on a very old friend. They're calling it a decisive foreign policy shift, a very deliberate move away from India, its closest ally for decades. And that's the real story we're going to dig into. All right, so let's break down what this shift actually looks like. Because to really get where Bangladesh is heading, you first have to understand where it's coming from, what that India-centric past actually meant. This is a tale of two leaders, and it tells you everything. Under the previous leader, Sheikh Hasina, the foreign policy playbook was simple. India first, security alignment with New Delhi, even boycotting a regional summit in Pakistan to side with India. But now, under Mohammed Yunus, the new buzzword is strategic diversification. This means he's actively looking for new friends, and we're talking about China, Pakistan, and Turkey, while also trying to wean Bangladesh's economy off its dependence on India. It's a total 180. So, this brings us to the next big piece of the puzzle, rewiring the regional alliances. And look, this isn't just talk. Dhaka is making some seriously bold moves, and they're happening fast. And just look at the speed of this. It's like a diplomatic whirlwind. In a matter of months, you have Yunus meeting with Pakistan's prime minister. Then, boom, Bangladesh is in naval exercises with both Pakistan and China. Then there's a huge visit to Beijing, the first high-level talk with Pakistan in 15 years, and then the big one, the first ever trilateral summit between China, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. This is a sprint away from the old order. And these aren't just photo ops and handshakes. We're talking about real, tangible benefits. What's in it for Bangladesh? Well, from China, they're getting duty-free market access, plus cooperation on things like military tech and AI. With Pakistan, they're opening up trade and even sharing intelligence. And with Turkey, they're talking about building defense factories together. These are serious strategic partnerships. Now, as you can imagine, all this rewiring has not gone unnoticed, which brings us to the giant in the room, India. For New Delhi, this isn't just a neighbor changing its mind. This is a direct challenge, a five-alarm fire right on its doorstep. From India's point of view, this list is basically a collection of its worst security nightmares. You've got Pakistan, its oldest rival, suddenly back in the game right next door. You've got major anxiety over the Chicken's Neck, that super vulnerable sliver of land that connects mainland India to its northern eastern states. Then there's the concern that Bangladesh might buy advanced Chinese fighter jets. And that trilateral summit, India sees it as a brand new threat, a hostile axis forming right on its border. And this tension isn't just staying in the war rooms. It's spilling over into the economy in a big, big way. We're seeing a full-blown economic tit-for-tat. Bangladesh restricts some Indian imports, so India cuts off a key shipping routes. Dhaka bans a pro-India political party, so India hits back with restrictions on garment imports. It's a clear, escalating cycle of action and reaction. So, the big question is, why is Bangladesh doing this? Why risk poking its giant neighbor? To get that, we need to stop looking at the map for a second and start looking at what's happening on the streets of Dhaka. You see, this whole thing is deeply rooted in domestic politics. There's a huge popular demand to break away from the old government's legacy, which was seen as way too cozy with India. There was a lot of public anger over New Delhi's support for what many felt was an authoritarian regime. On top of that, you've got anger over how some Indian media covered the recent revolution, the fact that India sheltered the old leader, and ongoing problems at the border. It's all added up to a powerful anti-India sentiment. And if you need any proof, just look at these numbers. They're absolutely stunning. A recent survey shows 75% of Bangladeshis have a favorable view of China. For Pakistan, it's 59%. And for India, just 11%. Wow. This isn't just a government policy. This is what the people want. And any government would have to listen to numbers like that. So what does it all mean? Are we watching the birth of a totally new regional order? To figure that out, we have to weigh the huge opportunities against some equally huge risks. This really gets to the heart of the high-stakes gamble Bangladesh is making. The opportunity is massive. to go from being a regional pawn to a real regional player, to finally have the freedom to engage with the world on its own terms. But the risks are just as big. Could it end up just trading one dependency for another, becoming a client state of China? And by cozying up to Beijing, it runs the very real risk of getting caught in the crossfire of the massive India-China rivalry.
And at the end of the day, what they're really chasing, the ultimate prize, is this concept right here, strategic autonomy. It's a fancy term, but it just means the ability to be your own boss on the world stage, to have a foreign policy that is, as they say, exclusively its own. That's the goal.
But the big question is, will it last? Well, there's a date you should probably circle on your calendar, April 2026. That's when the country holds national elections. And that will be the ultimate test. That's when the people of Bangladesh will deliver their verdict on this whole new direction. And the stakes really couldn't be higher. It reminds me of that famous JFK quote, "Domestic policy can only defeat us. Foreign policy can kill us. You mess up domestic policy, you get a recession, but you can recover. You make a major miscalculation in foreign policy, you could lose your country." So we're left with this huge critical question. Is Bangladesh charting a bold, courageous new path to true independence? Or is it recklessly gambling its future by jumping into a much larger and much more dangerous great power game? The answer to that is going to redefine South Asia for a long, long time.